So, circling back with Wise, you can recommend three films for a young film student who knows nothing about the man or his artistic sensibilities to
Mm.
watch. What are the three Wise films you suggest, and why?
Three films. I would go with certainly the Sand Pebbles in terms of
Yeah,
seeing a large scale movie that's just about human beings on this boat. I'd put that one in there. You have to include West Side Story. I mean, just a superb musical. And
yeah,
that is where you see the editor at work. Uh, and I'll digress for a moment. I mean, that was co-directed, and he shared the Oscar with Jerome Robbins, who was the choreographer and creator on Broadway of it. They came in to direct together, and Jerome Robbins was a perfectionist with the choreography. And they're shooting in New York. They've taken over an area that was going to be torn down, but they're in New York shooting, which is not cheap.
mhm,
And the Mears brothers watched the budget go up and up and up because
yeah,
Joe Robbins was rehearsing and rehearsing and rehearsing all the dance sequences to get it perfect. And eventually he said to Weiss, he's got to go. We've got to, this is ridiculous. We've got and Weiss came in and they had Robbins' assistants carry on. And it was fairly acrimonious, but they basically fired Robbins and Weiss, then finished the film off. But with the dance sequence and that, yeah, the choreography is amazing. But the editing of those dance sequences, that's all Weiss. The way it's shot and the way it's edited. And
yeah.
that's what makes those so good. So I'd recommend that one. Although I think Spielberg did an amazing job remaking that film. I mean, it his version is equally as good, I think. And the other one, I might pull out "I Want to Live" just because it's gritty, very realistic, and again the study of a crime where Susan Hayward's involved in it. They convict her. Somebody was killed in the crime. She's
Yeah.
convicted of murder and goes to the gas chamber. And it's really a incredible performance, which obviously Wise was in charge of, but it's just a harrowing experience watching that. It pulls no punches on it. Even the execution is done in excruciating detail. Uh, so I'd recommend that one, although there's so many of his films that are so good.
Yeah, I think your picks are in tune with what the curators at Turner Classic Movies would pick. They would probably say, I Want to Live or The Sand Pebbles, followed by Sound of Music, or
That's the first time we've mentioned that film, by the
I
way.
know it's not one of my favorites, but I know the world loves it. And there's like a whole like ritual that watches it and does a sing along at the Hollywood Bowl that my kid loves.
Well, I've got to tell
Um,
you, I went to Salzburg and I've stayed in and around that area there and have
mhm.
been all the places where they shot it, which are just fabulous. Um, and I did work with Christopher Plummer on a film,
How
and
was that?
well, it was interesting because I'd heard the story from Y, so he kind of Plummer sort of dismissed the whole thing. He kept referring to while they were shooting, it's the sound of mucus. He had very little regard for doing the movie the part, although he did a very good job and
Hmm.
I mean, a real pro and do it. But it wasn't like Hamlet, It's
Right.
and Plummer done Hamlet and a very good actor. But okay, I'm going to do this sort of fluffy musical and that. And Weiss went to him and said, "Look, at if you got so little regard for this, tell you what, I'll give you $150,000 for the recording rights, your share."
And
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. So Plummer sold out, and I'm not sure the actual figure, but he sold Robert Weiss his share of the soundtrack album, which was the greatest selling album, period, of the 1960s.
Is this okay? Hi, my name is David Pasquesi. You may recognize me from television program or motion picture, or not. NMOSD is a central nervous system disorder, and it's pretty brutal. You can help. Go to GuthieJacksonFoundation.org and donate today to help them find a cure. GuthieJacksonFoundation.org.